A former deputy national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Olabode George, has criticized the economic policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which he said are hurting Nigerians. Speaking at a news conference in Lagos on Monday, George said the 100 days of the Tinubu administration have brought hardship on the generality of Nigerians. He criticized the 5 billion naira palliatives given to state government to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal on Nigerians. He expressed fears that the fund will not be judiciously expended. The PDP Board of Trustees member also cautioned the administration in its foreign policy, especially as it relates to the coup in Niger Republic and Gabon.
You are doling now billions to the state for palliative. You're giving cash, chasing too few goods. You know what you are causing? Hyperinflation. that is medieval economics. And I said to people, I said, who is this voodoo economist who is the advisor in the villa? Give them the money. What do we want to do with money? How much can that money buy goods in the market? Abi? So what kind? Oh, give them. Oh, and now Lagos is about 22 million people. Bayelsa about plus or minus 2 million people. Lagos got 5 billion. Bayelsa got 5 billion. Kano, heavily populated. Jigawa, small. They got 5 billion. Kano got 5 billion. What are you telling the people? Is it not money for the boys? You look at it in those days, the giant of Africa. For every 10 Africans, 7 are Nigerians. Look at the little Rwanda there. And we want to concern ourselves with, hey, oh, there is a coup in that country. What the heck is your business? Does it have any direct impact on our national interest? No. All the arsenal that we have towards Nigeria and make life more meaningful to our people, make education easy for our people, make agriculture cheap for the people, make transportation cheap for the people, impact positively on them. The British also went through, many countries in Europe went through all this wahala. You know what they have done? The government promised that rather than giving cash to them, government has said, we will take 50% of your bill for your energy consumption per house. That's direct. Rather than giving one state governor 5 billion naira. To do what? Are we coming back next? And that money we were told was borrowed.
Also, former Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Olabode George, he cautioned the judiciary against encroaching on the people's right to determine election outcomes. He expressed concern that instead of upholding the people's will, the judiciary has assumed the role of deciding election winners rather than instructing the Independent National Electoral Commission to conduct new elections until true winners emerge. Well, Bode George is a former military governor of Old Ondo State, and he asserted that the current situation resembles a government of the judiciary, by the judiciary, for the judiciary. He also emphasized that the judiciary's role is to ensure fairness and justice and not to select winners. To further reiterate, Bode George joins us now live on Newsday. Thank you so much for joining us, Chief Bode George, on Newsday.
Well, it's my pleasure to be part of the national discourse.
It's good to see you again, as always, sir. Well, we are on the eve of the judgment of the Presidential Petition Tribunal. You've already given us your thoughts on how the judiciary plays into politics and our democracy. What are you expecting for tomorrow and the implications of whichever way it swings?
You know, thank you for this question. I have been a very keen watcher of the political hullabaloo in this country. And, thank God we are back in a democratic governance. In other words, the government of the people, for the people, by the people. It is the will of the people that we must respect. Now, we have an agency that was to conduct the election, an agency completely entrusted to manage and ensure that the process was seamless. At the end of the day, there was an announcement by the chairman that there was a glitch on the system. I am an engineer by profession, and I said to myself, if there was a glitch, first of all, let me thank President Buhari for introducing the modern technology in the electoral process. Because in the past, they had been handled, manipulated, all kinds of marauders, give figures, manipulate the figures, and come up with solutions that were archaic and unacceptable. Now, the day he announced that they have spent so much money acquiring modern technology to handle the electoral process, I had a party in my office. I was so thankful and so grateful that we are going to lift from the doldrums of hell to the civilized level of civility. But what happened? We started, he tested, there was a test run in Anambra, no problem. And there was another one in Ekiti, no problem. There was another one in Osun State, using the same modern technology. Now, he then announced, just before the election, that they had done a test run. I was so happy. On the day now of the election, on the D-Day, the H hour, you announced to the world that there was a glitch. I felt so mortified, beyond words, angry beyond words, because that's my specialization in the military. So I said, glitch? Eventually, they resorted back to the old archaic system where you now had a load of people manipulating results, and you had all the things that they said during the tribunal. And I want to appeal. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I have my common sense. And I am, asking purely on moral suasion purposes. Democracy is about the will of the people, the government of the people, for the people, by the people, selecting the choice of who should be president, who should be governor, who should be senator, who should be House of Rep member, or should never be through the courts. In this setup, there are three arms of government. They are equal arms, but independent. Now, if one of them now decides on our behalf who should be president, who should be governor, it's unheard of. It's absolutely shambolic. How would it be? The 200 million people, about 60 million people voted, and then 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 will now decide the winner of the election. I don't know whatever grammar and these same people live in our society, the lawyers and all that, playing and getting humongous amount of money for displaying and telling us about the technicalities, the what. What we know for real is that the election was shambolic. It did not go through the process as defined by the law. It did not go through the process as defined by the INEC themselves. So I am hoping that the Almighty God will work in the minds of these judges, to come up, tell INEC. INEC is the moderator of the election. Go back and redo the election to make sure the process is just, the process is fair, and the process is justifiable. If they cannot meet it, sack them and get new people to manage the election. But for judges to decide on the will of the people, or through whatever grammar they will give us, will be setting this nation back. You forgot the 12 two-thirds saga? When we had 19 states, they came up with stories about how 12 two-thirds should be about two-thirds of a state or not a state, all kinds of technicalities. Where did that lead us as a nation? Let's get off from this doldrum of hell and go to join the civilized people in the world. God has so given this nation so much. Mineral resources in every part, human resources in every part. Look at all developed countries in the world. You hear about Nigerians who are experts here, experts there. They are all over. Why can't we do something for ourselves? Why? I get mortified. I get so angry. What is going on? Why are we drifting? Because of personal ambition, personal aggrandizement at the expense of the millions of people. You need to walk the streets of every state and see squalor, and see poverty, and see anger in the faces of the people. All because of an ambition of one or two people? No, we can't continue like this. Look at in Kenya, they had an election.
George,
they went back to the court.
Please allow me to interrupt you. You know, it's
Right.
quite interesting that you're having second thoughts about the judiciary now when it had favored your party in the past.
Yeah.
You recall this same judiciary favored your party when it upheld the very flawed election that brought Umaru Musa Yar'Adua to power in 2007. You did not express reservations at that time. And it's also standard practice all over the world, you know, for the judiciary to arbitrate, you know, or intervene in election disputes. So why change the rules at this time?
You know, you are looking at it in a very myopic aspect. The fact that it happened at that time, does that mean we should continue? We saw the effect. All I am saying at my age now, since Shagari's period, we had never handled. At that time, there was no modern technology to run elections. People manipulated the results. And all of them, on all sides, have agreed that that was what they did. You are telling me now, because we did something wrong about 10, 20 years ago, we should continue? No. The essence of life is that once you are able to see the mistakes made, make corrections, and don't repeat the mistakes so that you can grow. That's all I am saying. For me, it doesn't matter whether it's party A or party B. Everybody will be involved. Let us do what is right. We had bought the best of technology to manage the process of election. So whether you said we didn't complain at that time, maybe we didn't know. Now we have seen the effect. Why should few people decide on who should be the president? I'm not talking, I don't know what will happen. We disagreed completely with the electoral process. Let us do something that is sane. Let's do something that is acceptable in a civilized environment. We are not proving the grace that God gave this country. Go every nook and cranny of Nigeria. Ask for professor of any field. You will see them more than enough that we can sell to other African countries. Why can't we manage ourselves? I am telling these justices, don't turn democracy into the government of the judiciary, for the judiciary, by the judiciary. Let the will of Nigerians prevail. Millions left their homes. There was a lot of campaign, a lot of physical effort, a lot of human effort, a lot of money expended, convincing people. And now the managers of the electoral process came out and told us that, oh, there was a glitch. We should reverse back to the old system which had been condemned by everybody. I was happy, I told you, when General Buhari introduced the new technology. This man had a test run in Anambra, a test run in Ekiti, a test run in Oshu. And he told us that they had done a national test run and everything was ready. And on that D-Day and the 8th hour, you now came up and said there was a glitch. And the manufacturers of the equipment said, and I quote, that there was no glitch, that we switched off the system. And I'm saying, if that is the case, is this the time to now declare A winner, B loser, or whatever? And Nigeria will remain. But will we remain united? Will we remain that nation of pride, the giant of Africa, a model for other Africans? No. Let's do what is good in the interest of these younger generations that are coming. The fact that you made a mistake in the past, does it mean you should continue to make it? Then you will never develop. You will never grow. There is so much anger in the land. And the same, the methodology of managing the palliatives is by giving cash. The first lesson you learn in an economic class is, if there is too much money chasing too few goods, hyperinflation. Simple and factual. So I am addressing this issue not based on any political party. My party, yes, is PDP. I'm not saying declare us or declare B, declare C. You have the INEC themselves came that 33%. They were at the 3% collation when they were directed to go and announce. That in itself should send everybody packing. Nobody should interfere. Allow the process to run. No interlopers, no manipulators. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
I'm not, the fact that it happened during Yaradua's time, 2007, this is 2023. We continue in that wrong route, it can be well. So let us fear God. Let us remember the millions that are suffering now. Anybody elected will remember, if the process is genuine, will remember that, so much from my constituency, they voted for me. Well, what is public office? What is governance? The utilization of the resources of the land for the benefit of the people.
Well, fair enough. Well, fair enough,
secondly,
Chief George.
Democracy.
Allow me to interrupt you. I apologize. Please allow me to interrupt you
of the people. For
the sake of time.
If you now say something was mismanaged, it was not done properly, you don't decide now, because of that, you give to A and say B doesn't have. No. Allow the system to decide. Let the will of the people. We can spend billions and billions of money to ensure that those who will be declared winners are the genuine winners wanted by the people, not by a few justices.
All right, Chief George, it seems we're having some communication issues. We will be right back to pick up with the interview right after this break. Stay with us. And welcome back to Newsday. Thank you for staying with us. We were speaking with Chief Bode George just before the break, and he joins us once again for our discussion on Newsday. Thank you for staying with us, Chief. I guess tomorrow is D-Day, and all eyes are on the tribunal and the judiciary. But I do want to move on to something a little bit lighter. We do know that it is the 25th anniversary of your party the PDP. And after about 16 years in power, if being the chieftain that you are, can you give us a brief overview of what you see for the party in the next coming years, especially at this time when it's drawing quite a lot of criticism due to infighting and just a lack of a punch in order to be the country's sounding board to offset the ruling party. So your thoughts on the PDP at 25?
Now, let me first of all congratulate the founding fathers on our 25th anniversary and to thank them so much for their commitment, their dedication and loyalty to the growth of this country called Nigeria. The way they conceptualized it, you had Chibola Ige, who was a member of the G14. You had Papa Lese Kweme. You had Jimu Wobodo. You had Baba Solomon La. You had Alhaji Siroma, Alhaji Bamanga Tuku, Alhaji Rimi, and so many others who politically in the First Republic didn't see eye to eye. They could not sit down in any room discussing politics. But they came together in the interest of Nigeria. The concept they brought up was a unifying concept. It's a concept that guaranteed commitment, involvement of every tribe, whether you are a big tribe or small tribe. They involved everybody. That was the only party till now that has the full colors of this country, from the swampy forest to the savanna regions in the north. But what happened? They came with a concept which we adopted, and that gave us the gusto to run this country for about 16 years. They divided Nigeria into 6 geopolitical zones. Because before, the majority had their way and minority were mere onlookers. But they said, no, that didn't work. There was perpetual friction in the First Republic. But now, they created 6 geopolitical zones. That is not in our constitution. The Northwest, the Northeast, North Central, Southwest, Southeast, South-South. And also came up with 6 top positions. The president, the vice president, the senate president, the speaker, the secretary to government, and the national chairman of the party, making 6 zones, 6 top positions. Every zone will go home with one position or the other. Because you can't be a member of an organization and then you are just mere onlookers. And they then decided Section 7, subsection 3C of our Constitution, till today, guarantees that there will be zoning and rotation in our concept. And so everybody was happy that the 3 positions in the north and the 3 positions in the south, after 8 years, will be rotated. All positions in the south will go to the north, all positions in the north will come to the south. So nobody will be cheated. And as you have that up and down, north-south, you will also rotate such position. So someday, a minority that never dreamt that he could get to the villa could become president. That was what they left behind. And there is no organization, there is no human being that is perfect. That was the dictum. That was the tenets, the foundation, the centerpiece of all our operation in the party. I was happy, they handed over the first conducted convention. I emerged as the vice chairman, Southwest. And we took over from them the dictates, the tenets, that they handed over to us and ran the party in that manner. So that was why every zone, everybody, I have campaigned through the nooks and crannies of this country. And there is no village you will not find a PDP. But somehow, like this is why I said, human beings, organization will make mistake. We can disagree, but we must never be disagreeable. We have learned a lesson in our party. We shoved it aside. Some people came with their stories. Others came with their own stories. We could not agree with them, with ourselves. But it's a learning process. A democratic dispensation is not a 100-meter dash race. You grow. You will see. Look at even America today. Look at the issue of the Republican Party. They've existed for over 200 years. They still had problems. The same in the UK. You have the Conservative, the Labour. There was a time the Conservative broke into two. But human beings, the system and our training didn't say sometimes you can hit a brick wall. But your ability to discuss, to find solutions to those problems will be a measure of how responsible, respectable, and determinable you are. We have learned, and I hope and I pray that at the end of this electoral process, which I told you was absolutely, completely shambolic, totally useless, we will sit down and rebuild the party. We cannot now allow the concept introduced by our founding fathers for the sake of one indivisible nation called Nigeria, allow it to die and to crumble. So I'm looking forward that we will discuss, we will chat, and we will get there. Obaniko Baje, like we say in my local parlance, it's a lesson. And we must, as elders, be ready to discuss in details the flaws. I can hear some saying, no, there is no flaw, it is this, is that. Oh, Wike and his group are doing this. We will resolve our problems. This is one party, the first Nigerian political party that wears the full colors from the swampy forests of this country to the savannah regions in the north. I pray for good success. A quarter of a century in existence. It's not a joke. But we will get together, reestablish ourselves for the sake of those younger generation we are mentoring. Tribalism doesn't help. Religious bigotry doesn't help. Divisibility in every aspect of our life does not help. Let's get together. Let us accept A is due for whatever it is due for, so be it. It's not going to be a long-lasting thing. 8 years maximum. And then we'll roll on. We have learned our lesson, and we will meet to resolve it. I want to congratulate the founding fathers and those who have remained in the party. The solution is not jumping ship. If you start jumping ship, I'm a sailor, So if you start jumping ship, someday you want to jump and you misjump, you know what happens? Straight into the bottom of the sea. So remain on board. Resolve and repair and accept your mistakes and build upon that. God didn't say we will not have problems as we traverse through the journey of life. But as you have the problems, you must progress. You must also decide that you get up and you move on.